Connecting Indigenous musicians and artists. Connecting Indigenous musicians and artists to the world. Welcome to Indigenous Superstars with your host, Rhonda Head.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show this evening. I'm really happy that you're joining us, and I'm going to be interviewing my 58th guest tonight, so I'm really excited about that. I started interviewing awesome people from the Powwow Trail and from the fashion industry. I'm going to be interviewing people from the film industry, and of course, continue to interview Indigenous musicians. So I'm really excited about that. And I just want to thank Stay at Home Manitoba for giving me a grant to do the show, Indigenous Superstars. So I want to give them a shout out. And I also want to give a shout out to Kim Wheeler for gifting me these beautiful earrings. So I want to thank you, Kim, for gifting me these earrings. I love them. And to Shirley Matilton for her feathers hair artistry thing, and she's based out of California. So thank you, Shirley, for the t-shirt and the hair products. I love them. My hair looks great. So thank you so much. So yeah, with the grant, I bought myself a new computer, and I upgraded some of my mics for the show. So I'm really thankful, and I'm also working on the money is also going to a website that I'm going to be launching pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. So the show is also a podcast. So when the show is over, I'll be downloading onto Buzzsprout to distribute to Apple Music and on iHeartRadio. So it's really exciting. My show is getting a good just some good exposure and not only the show, but the amazing artists that I've interviewed so far. So, and if you want to see past shows, you can go and join my YouTube channel. Just click on the YouTube and look for my name, and then you can subscribe, or you can go onto the Indigenous Superstars group page, and I posted the link there where you can subscribe to the channel. That way you can watch past shows and the current show live and future shows that I have coming up. So I have a really exciting guest tonight. Her name, she's well known in the Powwow Trail, and a lot of people were pretty excited when I announced my next guest, who is Irene Oakes, and she's a legend in the Powwow circle. And you know, when I advertised her poster, it got over 3,000 views. So I'm really excited, and I also posted it on a social distance powwow. I want to thank Whitney for supporting the Indigenous artists and for allowing me to share the show on the social distance powwow page. So shout out to Whitney and all their team. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring on my awesome guest this evening, Irene Oakes. Hey, how's it going?
Hi, Tonse.
Manatao, pinamaga.
I guess I'll introduce myself in Cree. Asini Squel, Esigasun, Niganit, Otsinia. I am really honored, and I thank you for your patience, because I'm with my cousin Marie Stanley. Yay, Marie, say hi. We're working with some young ladies in our community of Niganit, and so we're working with the horse program, and we were at a riding stables right now, so I have to run out of there. It's a good thing Marie has a house here in the town of Maple Creek, because we raced up and down the deserted streets of Maple Creek and came to her house and set up here. So thanks, Marie.
Right on. Thanks, Marie, for bringing Irene to her interview.
We're playing with the lighting all this time, trying to figure out what was the best lighting. So I think we got it covered now.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks great. So I'm just gonna let the audience know that you're a champion ladies fancy dancer, and you've been on the Powwow Trail for many years, and you're well known throughout the Powwow Trail, and a lot of people call you a legend in the dance arena. And I think you're one too. Like I love to watch you dance when you dance, and you have your own beautiful style. And I just want to let the audience tuning in to know a little bit about you. So I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions. So what inspired you, or how did you get into dancing and the Powwow Trail?
Well, I'm from Niganit, which is in the southwest corner of Saskatchewan. It's a really isolated community, and we're so blessed, I guess, that we still have all of our ceremonies and we have the language. But powwow was never a part of our community as when I was growing up. We're very small in numbers right now. In 2021, I think we have a population of about 550 people. We have about 200 on reserve. So the community has persevered, and we've remained really strong within our ceremonies. But it's we're in rodeo country. Everybody drives a big truck. Everybody has horses, and so I grew up around horses. And as I just mentioned at the beginning, we're the elders' teachings have brought about bringing back the power of the horse. But we always had parades here, and my late Gokom, Mary Francis, would rig me up some nice little cute little buckskin dresses. So I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to be a dancer, but I didn't know way back then that there was powwows, and I didn't even know that there was other First Nations people anywhere because we were so isolated. We didn't have roads, I don't think, into our community till about the late 1970s. So when you think of isolation in southern Saskatchewan, you think of Niganit. But I started dancing when the buckskin dancers, when there were dancers with my cousin Charlotte Wolfchild from Rocky Boy, who was probably one of the original fancy dancers, because I spent some time learning about the different styles throughout the years, and I was really blessed and fortunate to learn the different types of reasons why my role models danced. But Charlotte came up here to Saskatchewan. She lived in Rocky Boy, and her mother would travel around with her, and she danced with a buckskin dress, and she had a blue buckskin top. And she started doing a little bit of the toe tapping, and I used to watch her, and I didn't have anything to wear, and I would think, man, I want to dance like that. And so my mom got me a brown buckskin dress, and it had white beadwork. So I went to my first powwow at uh, where was that? Regina Beach. There was a little powwow that they had there. It was way back in the 1970s. And so I danced. I kind of followed Charlotte's style and started doing the toe tapping. And then I met my children's father then, Christy and Terrence's dad, and they're a Powwow family. So I started dancing a little bit more, but I had my two kids, so I was overweight and stuff. And then I had my son parents in 1975, and I had a young sister named Valerie, and she was the ultimate young lady that you would look at and you would see grace, and you would see love, and you would see just kindness. I guess the word that when I think of her is Ksewatsuan. You know, she lived the kindness, and we lost her in 1975 to leukemia. And before she got sick, she always told me, she said, Irene, I want to be a fancy dancer. So my mom made her a little buckskin dress, and at that time she was going through chemotherapy, and she ended up losing all her hair, but we still would get her dancing, and she would wear a wig, and she would go out and dance, and she just loved to dance. But we lost her on December 8th, 1975. So of course, with trauma and with the loss of somebody that's really precious to you, we all turn to ways to handle. We all turn to different ways to handle our grief. So I turned to using alcohol, and did that for a while. And then one night, I had Christy by then. Christy was born in 1978, and Valerie came to me. So I was sleeping in my bed, and she was sitting at the edge of my bed, and she had her little buckskin dress on, and she was talking to me, and she said, "Why are you doing this?" I wanted to dance. Why aren't you dancing? I wanted to dance, and why aren't you dancing? That's all she kept. She didn't look at me. She just kept saying that. And I woke up, and I thought, okay, I'm gonna dance. I'm gonna dance, and I'm gonna dance really hard, and I'm gonna dance for you, Valerie. So I did. I started dancing. I quit that lifestyle, and I started training. I went to my late dad and my mother. My late dad, Gordon. Went to my mom, and um, talked about how I wanted to dance. So I was still overweight and stuff, and I went to United Tribes, and I watched Patsy Hall and um, Bonnie Deer Claremont. She was Bonnie Deer then. She's Bonnie Claremont now from Minnesota, and they got into a tie, and I was just mesmerized, and I just thought, man, I want to dance like that. I want to be just like that, and I want to dance because they bring so much grace, so much beauty to that dance arena. And that was United Tribes. So I went home, and I remember, I don't know if Damon Brady remembers this, but Damon Brady is from Newtown, North Dakota, and I told him, I said, I want to dance really, really hard. I want to dance because I want to dance for my sister. And he said, you know what, you need to bring Irene into that circle. You got to bring that bounce. You know, ladies are dancing close to the ground. Looks nice, he said, but bring a bounce, bring a little bounce into it. And I said, okay, how am I going to do that? And he said, just bounce. Get a little trampoline or something, just bounce. So I did. I started training, started eating right, went to a fitness place, and they put me on a diet and stuff, and I followed it religiously, and I started bouncing. I danced on this little bouncing trampoline. We lived in Regina, and trained all that winter, and I World Assembly of First Nations was coming up, so I got my mom to help me bead a red outfit, and first time I ever beaded it, and we started beading it. My mom made the moccasins, got some shawls, and I trained. And I thought, okay, I gotta learn these songs. So we had big ghetto blasters back then, and of course, carrying this around, and I just keep on dancing because they had tricky songs back then. We had all those different songs, and of course, I like the Mandaree style, so I practiced to them. And World Assembly First Nations Powwow, I believe it was 1982 or 83, and it was 4 days. It was the biggest powwow I'd ever seen. There was over 1,000 dancers. We had first time I ever heard Oklahoma style singing. First time I met beautiful people with that Southern style. I met Joe Bointy there. And on the last night, late Lillian Good Eagle and I tied. I remember that tie, and I was just shaking in my boots and my moccasins, just about ready to cry, and we tied off. And actually, I had met Lillian. She was with her and Ronnie came up with Winona and Nami, and they were just little girls. And Terrence and Christy were young too, and got to visit with her and got to meet with her. And here we ended up tying, and ever since then, I never looked back. I just always, every single time I would dance, I would think of my sister because I would say, I'm dancing for you. So that's why I still dance. She keeps me going. She keeps me motivated. She keeps me on that track that I need to. And I've passed those on to my kids, all of my kids, Terrence, Christy, Mallory, and Lorin. Um, so when, it's such a long story, and I know you said, oh my goodness, that I was saying, how long is the interview? 30 minutes. And I said, okay, I'll be done in 30 minutes. But I really want to share the story and share why it is I dance. And it's because she keeps me going. And she's always around me. I could feel her.
Thank you for sharing that, and sorry for losing your sister. Um, where was that powwow that you were talking about? That big powwow? What
It
city
was
was it
called
in?
Kanukama Beach, but it's Regina Beach, and it's just north of Regina, Saskatchewan. And it was huge. People will probably talk about it. Biggest pow I'd ever seen. We had tribes from all over the world. We had the Sami from, where are they from? Finland. We had
Norway,
Norway or somewhere, and we had
or
the
the UK? Yeah,
Africans. We had the New Zealanders. Everyone and every tribe you could possibly think of was there. Be great if they could do something like that again, because it was unbelievable.
that's awesome.
Yep.
Something for me to think about. To organize.
Nice to meet you. Come on.
Yeah, that's right. So Karen Pheasant said, "Wow, I love this story." The story that you just shared. So do you do your own beadwork?
Yeah, I actually started beading then in 1983. My mom always, would help me out, and she said, "No, now that you've got your own children, you've got to start beading for them." So I beaded the majority of my outfits. I've had other people come and help me bead them throughout the years as I got further in my education career. Had an outfit one year from Marianne. Had an outfit from Melinda Goodwill. Who else has beaded me outfits? I'll probably remember more. But yeah, I've had different people help me create my outfits, and I cherish them. Sometimes I'll pass them on to somebody, because the girls, as they're dancing, they'd rather have their own, I guess.
Right. So can you tell us a little bit about your workout routine to prepare to dance?
um, Back when I was in my 30s and 40s, I ran all the time. Ran all the time. It was something that I think was ingrained in me from high school. I really was into sports, but I loved running, so I ran constantly. And then I started going to cross training. As I've gotten older and I'm in the golden age now, I will, and I've had lots of breaks. I've broken my ankle twice, broken my foot probably about 5 times. I've had to look at different ways of getting back into shape. So I'll do um, walking for a long time. I'll do some sprints. Um, I'll do stairs. We used to do the stairs quite a bit when I worked at the University of Saskatchewan. They have a 13-story building there. So lots of power dancers from Saskatoon will go and train there. But the stairs are really good to train out. Sometimes I'll take a class, let's say at the U of S, and there's some power training or something. Just different things because you get bored. But I have to do it if I want to keep on dancing, and I plan on keeping on dancing until whenever I can't walk anymore, I guess.
That's awesome. Your daughter Lauren Oak said, "Hi, Mom."
Hi.
So so you've been to many contest powwows right across Turtle Island, right through Canada, United States. How do you prepare for a contest when you're like right before or the day of or a few hours? Like, how do you prepare mentally and physically?
Um, if it's a no, it doesn't matter what kind of a pao it is. I have to eat a breakfast, and I'll try to eat something that's not going to get me nauseated, like a toast and banana or something, and um, just mentally prepare myself. Okay, looking at the drums, which drums are here, which drums do I think I'm going to get? Now, what I'll do is I'll dance the intertribals, just to make sure I get the feel of the drum, make sure I understand kind of their beats. I think it's important that you dance the intertribals because that's when you can, it brings you a lot of connection to that drum, because every drum has a different drum beat. You know, there's the Mandaree style with their peppy beat where you can probably dance forever, and then there's the ones that are more they do the word songs, so you kind of have to follow the words too and figure them out in your mind, so you stop on time to the words. And if it's Cree, then it's pretty easy because you understand the Cree words, right? So intertribally really helps me a lot. And then because of my injuries with my right side, like I said, I broke my ankle. I really have to stretch a lot before I dance.
So how do you prepare mentally and spiritually?
I smudge before I go to the powwow. I pray with my sage before I put my outfit on. If I can't light the smudge, then I'll do that at home. And just keep thinking that, okay, Valerie, let's go do this. And I get out there and I dance with Valerie.
That's awesome. So with that, I'm going to show a video of you dancing.
Oh my God.
It's a great video. People could see the style of dancing that you do and how hard you dance. So that was you dancing. That was so awesome.
Dancing with a young lady that was probably 40 years younger.
Wow, and you're just keeping right up with her or faster than her. My sister Janet says, "Hi Irene, love watching you dance." And
Hi, Janet.
wow. Yeah, Janet. She said hi, Janet. So me and my sister were your ears must have been ringing the other day, yesterday, because we were talking about that I was going to be interviewing you, and she was really excited that she was going to watch the show tonight, and she talked about how you spin around really fast, and I'm like, yeah, she spins around like a figure skater. You just spin like really fast. Like how do you do that?
I have to take my glasses off because I can't see anything without my glasses. I don't get the balance.
So you don't get dizzy?
Nope. If I put
That's
my
so
glasses
awesome.
on, I'll get dizzy. I'll probably fall over.
But yeah, your footwork is so amazing and you're so fast. Like Damon Brady told you to bounce, right? And you took his advice. Like you just dance really hard and you're bouncing around and keeping up with those young ladies, keeping them on their toes.
One of the things that Mandaree singers, late Bill Baker, always told me, he said, whatever you do on one side, always do on the other side. That way you're keeping that balance. So I've always tried to do that, making sure that I try to do whatever I do on one side that I do on the other. And it's the advice that I always give to my daughter, Lorraine, as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, Lorenzo, a very good dancer too. I'll be interviewing her in the future, so hopefully you're watching. So, can you tell us some of your memorable powwows you traveled to?
Wow. Geez, I don't even know where I would start with that. Well, of course, the World Assembly of First Nations um, was probably my first big powwow. I like the Skemetsin days. Um, they had some really awesome dancing there. It was good to. It was great to be able to compete against the best of the best and just give your best throughout the powwow. I also like that one powwow that you guys, a couple of powwows at the powwow. Remember when you guys had that Calcutta?
Oh yeah, that was in '81. That
That was
was fun.
that was pretty awesome. Everybody got to bid on you like you were a bull rider or something.
Yeah, all of yous got auctioned off. And then
Yeah.
and then that snake dance too, right?
Hmm.
That we
Yeah.
did. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. That was, and then that big 49 out at the Fisher Island.
Where the sun never went down, or the moon, or whatever. Yeah, when it wasn't dark, I could see everybody.
I remember that drum group Red Lake said one of the guys took over and he kept driving and driving till 11 at night. A lot of good stories came out from that powwow. That was a lot of fun.
I wanted to share a little bit about some of my mentors. I think I've been fortunate to watch the different trends of fancy shawl. Like I said, I started off watching my cousin Charlotte Wolfchild with her buckskin dress, and the different trendsetters. Like if you go on, it doesn't matter if you go Saskatchewan, Alberta, North Dakota, South Dakota. There's always some trendsetters, and um, it really is something that we should be sharing with our younger people, that there is people from the 1960s into the 70s who have changed fancy shawl to the level to where it's at today. And one of a couple of them that really stand out for me is late Gladys Jefferson and her sister. They brought that fancy dance competitive mode into that fancy dance circle, as well as Grace, her many horses, brought her own unique style of that gracefulness of and her arm movements. But I guess one of the biggest things I wanted to mention is the again I'll say that word Kasewatsuin. That's the principles of living a good life. I think that's so important to share with our young ladies, any dancer or shawl dancers, is that concept of living that good life, always um, thinking with good thoughts, going in with a good heart. And when I think of Gladys, when I think of Bonnie Claremont, when I think of Patsy Hall, when I think of Grace, her many horses, when I think of even younger ones now like Tung Shi, Candace Gadbois, Simone Pascaman, my daughter Lorin, and there's so many of them. Like right now, I could probably list about 100 of them. But there are these dancers who go in with that sense of living the good life and looking at things from that positive light. I think that's the most important thing, the most important teaching that we could share with our young people is always looking at that with that good sense of even with all the challenges that we have, that sometimes there might be some jealousies or maybe some bad thoughts, but still putting that aside and saying, I'm here to dance. I'm here because it gives me power, gives me strength, and it's something that I'm bringing my heart as well as my mind into this dance circle. And like I mentioned, we're doing the horse program, and this one word that was shared with the young ladies in that circle tonight, and it's a Cree word, and it really stood out to me. And I guess that would be another thing that I would share with all shawl dancers, is that whole concept of sukmam tuneta, sukmam tuneta. That means always have that strong mind so you could live a good life. I think that's really important because as I'm getting older now, I look at things and always talk to people that way, like the girls that I mentioned, the Josie Birds, all those young ladies that go in there with that positive mindset and just give it their all because this is what they're meant to do. And I remember doing a video. Timmy Shappy got a bunch of us to do a video about the women's fancy dance, and I can't remember who did it, but I think it's on YouTube now. And there was one quote in there I heard myself say on that video, and it's, "This is what makes me who I am, is dancing, because it gives me that strong mind, and it gives me that that push to be able to live a good life in any way that I can." So I don't want to get too philosophical, but I wanted to share that because I think it's really important that our young ladies that are going in that dance circle, that they always remember that we're in there, and especially with COVID times, right? We need to be able to support one another more. We need to be able to love one another more. We need to be able to care for one another more because times are so hard right now, and we don't know what the future is going to bring. But as long as you bring your strong mind into everything that you do, and you look at yourself saying, "I'm going to live that good life," is so important. So
Thank you
I
for
hope,
sharing,
yep, thank you.
for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge. Denise Lajmodier said, "Tante Boujou, Irene from North Dakota. Nice. So good to see you," she says.
Hi, Denise. Long time Powwow
Yeah, and
chatting
I just want to
buddy.
let people know that dancing is really it's hard. It's hard, right? You have to train really hard. It's not like you can just put on an outfit and go out there and you have to train. It's just like when you're going. For me, when I go to a powwow and go watch the dancer, like they dance so hard, and it's like watching powwow Olympics, and it's so exciting, and that energy that's given off, and it's also healing too, right? It's such a beautiful way of life for a lot of us that follow the Powwow Trail, and part of the reason why I wanted to start interviewing people in the Powwow Trail is to share our beautiful way of life with everyone, and to start documenting legends like yourself. So thank you for being part of the show. You
Just
are a
one,
legend. There's so many people love you and they watch your style of dance, and you really do dance hard, and the energy that you emanate to the people. We feel it, and thank you for that. Thank you for
well,
doing
I
that for us.
really
Yeah.
want to thank you for thinking of me, Rhonda. You've always been a friend of mine. I've always looked up to you. Always loved you and your sister. You've always given me that support, just even when you come and give me a huge hug. But my mentor, I always think of my mentor as my late dad. He always told me, and I guess this is what I'd like to end off with, is when you're in there, everybody competes with one another, but it's so good to see young people when they get back into that circle. And I've seen so many of them, where they will win a lot of money and they'll go give lots to the drum. And it's something that I've taught my kids, that you have to give back. You can't walk out of there with all of that in your pocket, because it's important that you share with other people, because you just never know what people are going through. And it really inspires me and makes my heart feel really good when I hear and see young people doing that in that circle. So kudos to all of you. And Charmaine, I'm wearing your shirt. Yay. Thank you so much.
Beautiful.
It really humbles me for you to think of me as a legend, because I don't think of that. I see myself as somebody who just loves to dance, and there's a purpose for why I dance, and it's my little sister who keeps me going. And my children. My children are my strength. I'm so blessed that I've got beautiful children who are gifts. So hi, nanas kumten. We'll see you again, my beautiful sister. Hi.
Yes, we will see you. We'll see each other again for sure. Hopefully on the Powwow Trail real soon. I'm getting a new dress made, so I can't wait to bring that out. And I'm sure the grand entry is going to be so colorful because everyone's working on their outfits now. And the singers are coming out with new songs, so it's just going to be a real exciting powwow. And once we get to go and dance in that powwow arena again. So I want to thank you again for. So I want to thank you again for being my 58th guest, and I'm really proud that you're part of my show, and it's streaming live right now on not on Facebook, on YouTube, and I'll share it on Social Distance Powwow and on my Facebook page. So thank you again. Yeah. So remember. So stay safe, stay healthy, sanitize your hand, wear your mask. Christy Kingsford said, "Hi, Grandma. This is Kelson."
Hi, Kelson.
That's awesome. So my next guest on Thursday is the awesome Jerry Soretta. So thank you so much for tuning in this evening. I hope you had a good show. Some of you are commenting, so we'll tune in again next time on Thursday.
Awesome. Take care, you guys. Bye. ¿Cómo estás?
Tune in again next time when Rhonda interviews another up-and-coming Indigenous superstar. Only on Indigenous Superstar.